Today, we're talking about Toyota 300 Series. I'm joined by Andy. He's one of my senior salesmen here at Wholesale Automatics, and we are talking about everything that we have available for your automatic transmission in the 300 Series. And we've done something similar to this before, like with the Ford Ranger and all that.
Correct.
We lay it all out on the table, and we have a bit of a chat about all the different upgrades, right? We are implementing a couple of new ones, all right, which I'll explain to you. You don't know nothing about what's going on.
I'm so glad.
And there's a couple of the more popular ones, obviously, with the oil coolers. So we'll kick off. This is actually my 300 Series behind. It's actually our test vehicle. We've now got about 76,000 Ks on it. I've owned it for nearly 3.5, 4 years. And right from the very beginning, we actually had the oil cooler kit put on it, which is actually the one over here on the right, right? And then we went on to discover whether we're going to do a lockup kit. We went on and put a temp gauge kit in it. We then turned around and started developing a valve body for it, which took us a while. It's a tricky one to do. And now we're basically up to the pan. So we'll kick off. I guess the first thing we'll talk about, why is there two coolers on the bench?
So pre-October 2024, there was no thermal fan in the 300s. After November 2024, Toyota put a thermal fan in the 300. Hence, we had to change our bracketry to accommodate for the space.
Now, they're both dual coolers, and we didn't want to try and make a small cooler that did both jobs. We turned around and said, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to turn around and make them both the biggest that we can. But to do that, we had to fit them in two different spots. So we made two different bracket sets and everything, and the way we actually did it, and that's what we had. So basically, we have pre-thermofan, and we have the later model that has a thermofan. Yeah, well, perfect. I've owned this car since the early years and that, so this one's got no thermofan in it at all. So these cooler kits are absolutely rippers. Now, they're dual coolers. Give me that one for a sec, we'll do that one. They are dual coolers, right? That means that there's a cooler on the front and the back side of the same mount. They do have a one-piece mount in between, and that means the reason why we do that is that we want the mount to take all the load, right? You don't want the coolers to take any of the load, especially if you're on corrugated roads.
No.
Rough as guts road, big potholes and everything else, impacts, everything like that. We want to make sure that the mount's taking all the load and the vibrations, and the coolers are basically just along for the free ride. All Australian made, all right? Actually, the Nomad valve body, pretty much. The new pan that we're building for it, it's also all Australian made, so it's really, really good. So this one's pre, so you can actually tell between the two of them, the mounts are very, very different between the two of them. But a big dual cooler kit. Both of them are both large dual cooler kits. We'll put that down. The later model one, obviously a different shape. Still a dual, still a big twin, still a big single mount and everything like that. Works beautifully. Now they do come as a complete kit.
Yep.
What comes in the kit?
What comes in the kit? You get the coolers, obviously.
Yep.
You get the bracketry, you get hoses, and you get all the fittings to fit the cooler to the vehicle.
Even better, you even get the fitting instructions. And thanks to our cameraman, Kayla, sitting over here hiding, we even get the install videos. So not only do you actually get the fitting instructions, which are full colour, step by step, but if you're a little bit nervous, not quite sure, you can actually jump on our website. At the top, you'll see a banner. I'll get Cullen to follow it through right now on it while you're watching this. So you go to the top of our website, you can actually click on our tech support. You'll come down to coolers. You'll jump in, you'll put in your make model, all right? And then you'll go through and you actually have a copy of your fitting instructions in there, or you've actually got the video of actually how to install. In this case, there's actually two of them. There's actually going to be an early and a late.
And so, I can tell you, watching the videos solves so many issues.
Especially if you're a DIY.
Yeah, 100%.
If you're handy with the tools, coolers are probably one of those things that is super, super easy to install. And look, they're right up the front. They're exceptionally easy to do, exceptionally easy to get to, and the fitting instructions will actually testament to that. Now, the temp gauge kit. Now, I know you're well versed with the temp gauge kit.
Love the temp gauge. Love the temp gauge.
Now, I am a big believer. It's one of the first things you ever want to put in your car is a temp gauge. Now, fair enough. You've got a scan gauge, knock yourself out, right? Not every car can actually have a scan gauge because a lot of them are analog, especially some of the older ones, or older guys, right? Which I can't see the scan gauge properly. It's hidden down, it's not in a convenient spot. I want at a glimpse in my eye to turn around and just see the gauge just sitting there. So whether you have it in the pillar pod or you have it mounted like this, it actually comes with a proper cut mount, and you can actually angle it and move it and around and everything like that. And it all lights up, and it comes as complete. It comes with the wiring harness. It also comes with the
unions,
cooler union, and the cooler union already has the sender already put into it, so you don't actually have to do anything. Another set of fitting instructions. Yep. That one's pretty easy to do. I swear by a temperature gauge because they tell you what the transmission does and doesn't like. If you are getting hot, it also tells you what you're doing, what efforts you're making to try and cool it down, whether they're working or not. Because a lot of the times, a lot of people say, oh, I'll just bog it down, I'll go slow. In actual fact, they're making it worse. Lower gear, higher RPM tends to help. Coolers help a lot more.
They sure do.
But these will actually tell you what's actually working and what's actually not working great. You've got one in your Triton?
In my Triton, and I love it. It was great coming home from Australia Day weekend. I kept my eye on the temps. It was a stupidly hot day when we were coming home. It was something in the vicinity of 48 degrees.
Yeah.
Probably shouldn't have been driving home, but you know, work calls. And you know, it was great. I could just put my foot down with confidence, knowing that you know, whatever I was doing, I could just react to the temp gauge.
The amount of people that have actually rung us and said to us they had no idea how important the temp gauge is. It's not like an engine temp that sort of sits in the middle and goes nowhere. An auto temp, it's all over the place. Every 5 minutes you're doing something. Stop, start, you're in the mountains, you're going around. Every time you're doing something, and it's very responsive because we're going off the torque converted temperature, so it's really reactive. If it's in the pan, it's really slow, right? Because one, you're measuring the transmission at its coldest point, not its hottest point. The converter is always the hottest point because it generates most of the heat. So it reacts very, very quickly, and it quickly tells you, especially if you're off-road, doing a lot of low-range stuff. If you're on the sand, I swear by the temp gauge kit, especially if you're in the soft sand, you haven't got a gauge and a set of coolers, you shouldn't be there.
And for those of us that are in Melbourne, when you come into Alexander Parade, and you're crawling down to the eastern.
Bumper to bumper. Yeah, you swear by it. No lock-up's going to save you there.
No lock-up at all.
Talking about lock-up, are we doing a lock-up kit for the 300 series?
Are we, Rod?
No. And the reason for that is I don't really need it. They're actually pretty good. It's not to say that they're perfect. They're not perfect, right? And we got a couple of cars that are normally pretty good in. The 300 series, we were going to do one. We felt that there was a need for one, especially when you tow and you get into a certain situation where the factory lockup doesn't come on and you do get the overheat. Now we had that. We originally built these coolers for customers that were telling us that the 300 series simply cannot tow. And it's like, well, that's just not possible. Toyota built it to tow, all right? And they weren't being unreasonable on weight. And you get other people, well, majority of people turn around and say, I have no problems at all. But there is a big difference for those people that are driving on the open road, flat, undulating sort of hills and bits and pieces like that. And you get people that do get into more the tricky terrain, which is just the hills, the mountains, bumper to bumper traffic and out, where the lockup's not coming on. And it's those situations where the lockups are not coming on that the car relies on the coolers, all right? And I've had so many people just turn around and say, the light comes on, what am I doing wrong, this. I've even had, not manufacturers, I had dealers ring up and say, you know, we don't have an understanding of this. There's nothing wrong with the car. It's just the customer has found the sweet spot where the lockup is not coming on.
It just doesn't want to kick.
And some people are just really good at finding that sweet spot, and a certain foot, a certain weight, a certain speed, and they're towing a consistent weight, they always seem to find it. And others are like, swear, never had a problem in my life. And that's, probably a little bit heavier on the throttle, a little bit quicker and that. Who knows? So, without a doubt, we've decided that we didn't need the lockup because we could handle it all with the coolers by itself and the temp gauge if you wanted to monitor, or a scan gauge. Now, I'd love to sell you my temp gauge, but you get to pick and choose. I like the analog gauges because I like a needle that tells me whether it's in, you know, the good range or it's in the bad range. It's really easy in that. You know, you don't even need to know the numbers.
No,
is the needle good or is it bad?
Is it here? Great.
Yeah.
Here? Not so
good. So we'll move on from that. Now, we are talking deep cast aluminium pans. We have them for so many different models.
Yes, we do.
I mean, there's very rare model that we don't have them for, including this one, the 300 series. This pan here is actually our 200 series pan. we are in the early development of doing our cast aluminium pan for the 300 series. As we are, by the time you see this video, we'll probably have all the AC61s out for all the D-Maxes, Tritons, Parados, the list goes on and on and on. But we are doing one exactly like this. It is a deep cast aluminium pan. It'll be an Australian-made one as well. So
even better.
Well, it's great that we're doing some Australian-made products in the cast aluminium department. So we are doing one both for the 300 series and also the 250. So please keep an eye on this space, and you will find out that it'll just appear on the website around this video somewhere normally that you'll actually find it. So that'll be coming out later on this year. We're definitely doing that one. And the one that you didn't know about.
Yeah, I had no idea. Thank you.
Probably the longest in development that we've been doing is actually the 300 series. This is actually the Nomad valve body. Right? It was a tricky one to do, development-wise. We had to understand it. And because of the car's electronics, they're pretty good at smoothing out everything that you do.
Yep.
So you might raise pressure, you might try and turn around and make the shift change a little bit firmer. But then, you know, the computer in the car just turns around and goes, oh, it's thumping a little bit. It'll turn around and tune it back. So we had to learn how to work with the computer instead of against the computer. And we have built this. Now, I've got this valve body in this car. It's been in this car now for about 3 years. So it's done a lot of Ks, probably done 50, 60,000 Ks. One of our biggest developments that we did. It is a heavy duty Nomad valve body, and it is all about the clamping force, especially if you do a lot of beach work, low range, you tow, or you're one of those people that's a bit of a combination. You're putting big tyres on,
That's me.
bull bars, winches, roof racks, tow, engine upgrades, any of those type of things. You really do need a valve body, and they are just magnificent. One of our biggest sales that we actually do around here is our Nomad valve bodies. They've always been successful. We spent a lot of time on it, and this is actually a genuine new. We actually do a lot of pressures before and after. So we do analyse it, we do have it, and at some point we will actually put it in our report. We actually show the pressure rise both before and after, and we tested it several weeks later, several months later, and a couple of years later, and that pressure had not dropped from the time that we actually put it in. So we had a couple of people, even our own staff, just earlier turned around and they said, but doesn't the computer turn around and lower the pressure? Because no, it changes the shift feel. It wants to give you a nice shift feel, but it doesn't lower the pressures. So obviously a couple of the other upgrades that we do as part of this, we want to take out any factory faults, as most importantly. When we do take these valve bodies apart, we find out that they are normally machined beautifully. They don't use any gaskets in it, right? And when they do that, we always want to make sure that it's all flat, everything's beautifully done. And you'll notice that we actually put in our own plate. This is not a basic kit. This is a whole valve body assembly. And you'll see, I'll put it up here, got the word Wholesale on it, so you know you've got the genuine deal when you've got the name Wholesale on it. It's a big plate to go in. They actually do a few other modifications we want to stop leak by.
Yes.
So we all get pretty hot in these things and that, and obviously we want to stop any leak by and everything like that. So we do a few little modifications on that. So it's all about wear, longevity, reliability,
which is a big one,
and higher pressure, especially if you tow.
Yeah, right.
They're the perfect thing. Don't believe me, believe him.
Believe me.
He's a salesman.
Apparently.
I just work here. I just work here. So with any of this, you know, this is what you need to do. These are all the upgrades that we have. So apart from this, no lockup.
No lockup.
But you've got everything else. They're all ready to go. The pan will appear later in the year. So sometime later in the year, you're looking at this valve body. Check it out. You will find it. And if you like any more information about this or any of our products, we'll jump online.
Yep.
Right, at Wholesale Automatics and put in your make and model car, and then, which in this case will be your Toyota Landcruiser 300 series, and then before you know it, you'll be on a page that shows you everything that we have available for your car. And please, don't give me a call, give Andy a call. He'll be on the phone.
Absolutely.
Until then,
looking forward to it.
We'll see you next time.
Catch you later.